Mountains of dust swallowed the plains. Families watched as the very farmland that sustained them rose to choke the life out of this region.
Droughts were not new, but this time the seared fields and overused pasture lands were lifted and blown away, wrecking crops, hopes, lives.
By the mid-1930s, the times couldn't be more desperate. Farmers throughout the Midwest were paying dearly for poor land management practices. Extensive deep plowing left soil unanchored. Then, the drought of the 30s hit. When the rain stopped, the black blizzards rose.
Dust, such a personal adversary. It turned the simple intake of breath into an ordeal. It was the cough that wouldn't quit, the eye that kept weeping. Dust was sickness for unprotected cattle, poverty for many a rancher.
The dust storms forced tens of thousands of families into mass exodus. Many headed for industrial areas, where the strain of the Great Depression already weighed heavy. Less than a year earlier, President Franklin Roosevelt laid out a plan designed to give the people of the plains an incentive to stay. While Congress was holding hearings on the proposed cash grants, Black Sunday was about to bring the problem to their doorsteps. The seemingly endless supply of dust storms had become a part of life, but Black Sunday was not just another roller in the plains. That day started with sunshine. The spring warmth felt like a respite. Then in the mid-afternoon, a front moved in from the north. Temperatures dropped 40 degrees. On the horizon, there appeared an apocalyptic vision. Those who had been outside scrambled for any cover as their world was engulfed in blackness. In the middle of the afternoon, all you could see was dark and dirt for a terrifying 15 minutes of pure black. Black Sunday would be a turning point in the federal government's recognition of the problems in the plains, not the least of all because the storm blew all the way to Washington, D.C., where politicians complained about the dispersed effects of what, for their fellow Americans, had become a way of life. The following morning, that life was given a title.
A new name was declared for the land. Dust Bowl.
A report on the storm, written by Robert E. Geiger, a reporter for the Associated Press, was the first to use the term Dust Bowl. While Geiger gave credit for the term to his editor, Ed Stanley, the national press picked it up almost immediately. Less than 2 weeks after Black Sunday, the Soil Conservation Service was created.
Years pass on the Great Plains. Generation after generation, family by family. The land of the Great Plains is being stabilized through long-range planning. The efforts of farmers and ranchers are helped along by their government, by cost sharing, and by help from men trained to treat the land and its plants, water, and wildlife, all the things that make up the wonderful world of the plains.
But 1935 was far from the end of the Dust Bowl catastrophe. For some regions, it would be unabating for nearly 8 years, offering unforgettable imagery of suffering that would come to characterize America's worst ever economic crisis.